Patton, Andrea Dodd, Zoran Korak, and I'm A.G. Longoria. And this is Tuesday. This is our almost weekly Zoom meeting. First of all, I think that the UTRs grew, that we had the best one. We have people from San Diego coming up to play at 8 o'clock. And the word is getting out. And this was a tough weekend because a lot of people were graduating, had graduation party, or they had proms, stuff like that. And I know that when we add the doubles, and it's going to grow. And the couple of things that happened, the Marguerite has been approved by SAGE, by CIF, everything. Dave Brelly has been sicker than a dog. We're trying to get together. Trevor Kroverman, who runs CTCA deal, so we can put it on the schedule and all this kind of stuff. I have the registers ready to do and a big story on it. Dave Brelly will be the contact person. And I gave him the exclusive, so he'll do the big exclusive story, and then 3 days later we'll send the press releases out to Inside Tennis and the LA Times and all that kind of stuff like that. It's going to be huge. Zoran did a lot of job working. We talking to coaches, meeting with coaches, all the top coaches, getting them what. It's exactly the same as Ojai boys. One singles, one doubles. You enter 64 draw. The everything with Mission Viejo, the 3 Sunday UTRs are going to be verified. We'll probably get a lot of adults for that. We have to split the profit with them, but that's what we're doing with the schools. The preseason tournament, 64 draw single, 64 verified. I think it's going to be huge. Over half the coaches we talked to that wanted the Marguerite to be a preseason, so now we give them both. We have a preseason, and eventually we hope to have 4 of these throughout the state after this year. We got everything is all set up at Laguna Hills. What's great is that we'll feed about 20, 30 kids out of my 6 weeks of camp into the tournament, because they have to go 6 days, Monday through Saturday, 5 days from 9 to 12 of instruction, and then they will get in the tournament, and that will seed it for when people are looking to see what's happening. Now, we got a little bit of a problem, not a problem, but at SAGE, we were only allowed to do 4 weekends, which is fine, and that was the one where we were going to have the instruction with play and charge $100. So I went through, and I want to ask you what you think about this. Is that we take the other 6 tournaments at Laguna Hills High School, and we do the verified with instruction in the morning from 8 o'clock until 1. I've done the numbers on it. It'll be a little bit smaller, but we can do that. And then we do the unverified tournament, which is 2 separate tournaments, from 1 to 5. And so let's open that up. Anybody have any questions about that or think that'll work?
How are they going to differentiate between that online with UTR? I mean, is that going to be a little confusing? Some people that are registering might not understand the difference between the two.
Well, the price will be different.
No, I know, but I mean, it's, just you're just gonna have to have a different name or something, or
right. We'll have to come up with a different name. Also, tomorrow, we're since Zoran has been doing the lion's share of, and we've really learned a lot about the tournament. The 6 that we did, or 4 or 5 that we did. We're gonna Dave Fish and
his
team are gonna. They've been sent all the stuff that I sent you guys, and we're gonna ask them questions and also see what they say. They could answer that question that you have, Andrea, like that. I know there might be a little bit of confusion. Can verified play and unverified and vice versa?
I mean, what do you mean verified? I mean, what do you mean can verified played unverified? from my understanding, a verified tournament is one that is like a USTA that has like ITF. I mean, it's a UTR. Those levels of tournament, whereas just the regular UTR, it's a non-verified, is basically like high school matches where you do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess you were saying it's the number.
I know the answer to that.
You said it was the number of games.
The verified, you have to play 2 out of 3 sets regular, or you can play the fast 4 2 out of 3. The unverified, you can just play sets. So that, I think there's a way that we can do this. I don't want to give up one or the other, and I think that we can. I mean, I think we can do it. I don't know. We'll get some feedback from Fish and his staff. Anybody else want to say anything about that?
Well, I mean, I guess just I think the kids would probably want verified. They'd want to play, but I don't know. I mean, your group of kids out there might be a little different than around here. The kids around here would want to play verified versus like a fast, versus just like, a 6-game set or something.
That's one of the things that we've encountered. A lot of the lower level players or the beginner players and the parents, they're very grateful for the 3 sets and not just playing, a match against someone that's way better than them and then they have to go home, or for them to play a match and then wait, 4 hours for the second, or 3 hours for the second round, and then also next day. So they're looking for just match play or set play per se. A lot of the lower kids, and a lot of the lower kids, I think, maybe aren't ready for the whole verified aspect of it. But as far as all the kids that are ranked from the SCTA, USTA, yes, I would say even the bottom level USTA players all probably want verified tournaments.
All I know is the kids that we're getting are basically frosh off JV, middle school, or little kid. The pros at my club at Kodo, or
their kids.
Nellie Gale, they're sending their kids over, and the parents sit there and they love it. They love the 2-hour thing. They love the 3 sets.
They love the coaching. There's coaching.
So we're probably 2 or 3 years behind Texas and everybody else on this. So I think that's why I wanted to keep the unverified and didn't do it. I don't think there's going to be a problem if the 8, 9, 10-year-olds and the come. I mean, we can put it down and we'll figure out a way to do that.
Well, you have to figure out what your target market is. I mean, what you're trying to market to. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if you guys are wanting to do the the JV, intermediate group, then yeah, do that. If you want to if you want to try and get some more of the more advanced kids, and then do the other. I mean, you guys have to figure out what you want to do.
Well, we're doing both.
Yeah.
Well, our primary focus should be on the lower end.
It's a bigger market.
It's a bigger market, as well as it's less competition. Our competition would be the novice tournaments, the satellite tournaments, the level 7 tournaments from USTA, even the green dot balls tournaments. But I think just AG's excited because we have a lot of people that still are wanting to play tournaments, and he also wants to include the whole instruction package as well for those kids that are committed to longer hours. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I've been at so many different schools and clubs, and something that works great here doesn't work great over there. They love it here, they hate it there. So you just throw it against the wall and see what sticks. So offering 2 levels could work great because then you're keeping families together. Maybe they have one kid who's advanced and one kid who's just getting started, and they're tired of having to split up, but then, if you do that, there could be some confusion. So I think one good solution might be to call it intro to UTR. You know, intro to UTR, and then that's pretty indicative of what you're getting. You know, you're getting your start. And so, you know, the key, I think, will be keeping people in intro to UTR until they're really ready, until, you know, you might want to sell it and say, hey, do intro to UTR for 5 events until you get your rating kicking in, right? Or 5 matches, whatever it takes to get a legitimate non-verified rating before going into verified. And then maybe call verified tournaments something else, you know. And, you know, in small print, you could put unverified, verified. There will be a lot of explaining. I mean, one thing that I think is fine is for not everything to be completely spelled out, and then it puts the onus on us to engage with parents and kids and explain it all, teach them, you know, how does it go? And then you're developing a relationship that way. So that's a bonus. I mean, I think people tend to take the easy way out, and they want everything to be just read the website, you know, because I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have to talk to you, you know. But you know, but yeah, I mean, it's you get it. Then you create this relationship where they start to trust you, and they want to know. You become their source of information. I think that's a great thing.
Well, my thing is, if you do the same tournament on the same day, just from that one that I was out there was a little confusion on the times. People don't really read very well. They don't dig deeper, and people were showing up at the wrong times. Just a handful. But I'm just saying, if you run 2 different tournaments on the same day, which is fine, just I think they need to make sure they spell out beginner or whatever at this time, and then this time over here is that.
Well, to piggyback on that, I don't know how it works because I haven't done one yet, but I hope that there's like a direct email of their start time.
Well, there was supposed to be, but the problem is that the email went to kind of like either the kids, because they have to register themselves, not to the parents, and there needs to be a way that the parents need to find out their time. So, or that's what was said, but you know, there needs to be some type of, you know, way to fix that. But I mean, that I can just see the, you know, some person showing up that was, you know, in the morning that should have been playing in the afternoon, and vice versa. I'm just saying, make sure it's there. I mean, I think 2 tournaments on the same day is fine. Just we got to make sure it's completely. They understand it's 2 different things. It's completely 2 different.
Right. It's 2 different platforms. Like
right, 2 different platforms. And the thing is,
our website, CTCA, they look at list of our events, and it'll have a title and this. And so there's no way that if they entered verified, they can look up the draw and the times on verified. It's not going to be confused with this, and because they have to go to another platform, they have to pick the next one down that says unverified, and it says 3 1-set matches. This one will say 2 out of 3 set fast 4 matches. They're completely different. I think that the odds are going to be really.
Well, what's going to keep them from saying, okay, wait a minute, maybe they messed up. Maybe there's 2 tournaments at the same site on the same day. Did I enter the right one? I don't know which one did I enter. Should I put in the right, you know.
We can put a recommendation as well from, I feel like from what we've been, our last few tournaments, I feel like 5, the recommendation is if you're above 5, then that should be a kind of a good start as for you to play verified UTRs. The 4, you can even make a case for 4, I mean, because they can play a little bit, and there is some of that. A quick little joke, I think Bill is telling us that he wants his phone number listed down for anyone to call.
Okay.
The parents, so he wants to talk to you.
Sure. Yeah, I'll talk to them. I don't know what to tell them, but I'll talk to them. I'll turn them around, and I'll be like, yeah, go talk to Zoran.
Yeah, right.
Well, I will say this.
Zoran there.
We're educating the people. We're getting a lot of people coming back. They love it. They're coming back. And like, for example, they said, I didn't get the email. I says, well, what email did you put down? Oh, I put my kids' emails. Well, you need to put the email of who drives or who gets them there. So they're learning, and they know. So and I think we can be successful in both. They're going to be on two different platforms because you have to click to the next one to get to the unverified or verified, etc. Now, so we're going to ask David Fish that anyway tomorrow, and his staff. Now, let me ask you this about doubles. So we want to add doubles, and I think that's going to double our income, or potentially double it. Zoran says we should have them sign up individually, and then they rotate partners. And I thought they should join as partners. But go ahead.
I've experimented with different formats of doubles, and I think kids don't like that. It's really, and generally most doubles players really struggle with moving from one partner to another. And then the potential that you'll actually make a friend is greater if you're thrown together with another kid, right? So I would strongly recommend having kids seek out partners, right? And then when they can't, then put kids together by ability. And I've had some really amazing experiences where by the end, two kids needed partners. We put them together. By the end of the tournament, they became really good friends and they started practicing together. You never know what can happen. So I think, and then of course, then the opposite can happen. You can have two kids and they just really hate each other, and they learn how to get through it. So I've had some kids actually get to the finals of a tournament and they didn't even really like each other, but they played well together. And it's like sometimes doubles is like that.
Now, my counter to that is, yeah, that is ideally the best way to run probably a doubles tournament, but finding people at lower levels to already know who their partners is and also having them be at the same level is, I think, the biggest obstacle.
Okay, but now let me go back on that. Let's say you have 16 teams and only one has formed themselves. Well, good. They formed themselves.
Okay.
And so then they got to choose, because you take away the choice and now you have a source of complaining, right? Oh, we wanted to play together, but we couldn't. So,
why couldn't they?
Then what will happen also over time, the kids will get more familiar with each other. They will start to understand. They will have met and played and, kind of liked each other, and then they go, hey, do you want to play doubles in the next one? So, yeah, I say definitely you want to give them the the right of refusal to choose their partner, and then help them out. And then as the tournament officials start to get to know the kids better, then you can go, oh, okay, I remember that kid, and then here's this other kid. I think those two would get along.
Andrew, what do you
I think
the more we can bring the human element into it of building those relationships, the better for the game, the better for everything. I mean, one of the things that I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over again, is that one of the things that is needs to be developed in tennis is community. We need to develop community. I mean, and so we have to go out of our way to make that happen. It doesn't happen by itself.
Andrea?
I think so the problem I see with having them rotate every round is, the kids finally get to know each other and then boom, that little thing's over. So I think that, let them sign up together as a team, and then everybody else that's left over, we'll just put them together according to their UTR, and then let them play that day together, and that way they'll get a couple rounds to get to know each other. I mean, how many times have you played with someone and it took you a couple games to even figure it out, or whatever? But I just think that I think a lot of people struggle with jerking when you start, constantly rotating partners for a little bit, because at first, I mean, they're out there, they're not, they're just getting to know that person, and they finally start relaxing and then actually learning to play doubles with that person. Then boom, you're going to yank them to go learn to do the same thing over again with someone else. So I just say the first time, why don't you just try, say you can sign up as partners. I mean, hell, if you have a field of 16 and nobody signs up as partners, well, I mean, still just put them all together and just say, okay, we're going to match you up, and then, and then just kind of see how it goes. But, I think just constantly changing partners, I think it's always been a little bit of a struggle.
What I propose, and of course, this is a very big first question we're going to ask the fish people, the UTR people tomorrow. But I was thinking this, that in verified, you have to enter with a partner.
Well, yeah. Well.
The unverified, you enter individually, and what we do is you take the top 4 highest UTRs, and they play in a group of 4, and they play 2 matches, or they, whatever they play. They play with every partner.
3 sets.
Well, it unverified. Yeah, that's unverified, because they could play 3 sets. They play with Johnny, they play with Susie, and they play like that. So you have 4, 4, 4, 4, and they play 3 sets of doubles. So
that's like a showcase. That's what they do at the showcases.
I like the idea, though, to at least give them first option. Is that what you're saying, Bill? Is that to at least give them?
Yeah, you give them the choice of picking their own partner.
If they played with them before.
Then, from there, match players up by ability, because, when players are mismatched by ability, that's not as fun. When one's an obviously stronger player, that's hard, right? There will be some unknowns. There will be some people who don't have enough data yet. You don't know what you're getting into. It's never going to be – no format's going to be perfect. But I think players will strongly prefer to stay together with one partner during an entire event than otherwise.
Okay, go ahead, Andrea.
Okay, what they do down here at the UTRs with the doubles is that they do have people sign up together as a team. They have people that do sign up individually, and the ones that are left over individually, they pair them up together. So the 2 strongest UTRs go together, then the next 2 go together, and the next 2 go together.
That sounds pretty good.
And then they put them in the draws according to the strongest UTRs are up in this group, then the next group, and then the next group. So they try and keep the competition, competitive, where one's not a complete blowout.
Gotcha. Well, we'll certainly ask the UTR people. All right, one other quick question.
Okay, I got to check something. I'll be right back. Sorry. Keep going.
Go ahead. He's listening.
Okay, all right. So I've run a bunch of tournaments, and so has Dave Borelli, with handicapped people in wheelchairs. Now, I've seen them play, and I brought this up to Fish about 6 months ago, a year ago, and he said, well, we're not kind of ready for it. But I think they can play. I've had people, a handicap with a person of able-bodied play doubles together. And I've seen the individual play. The only rule is 2 bounces. That's the only thing that's different. Zoran thinks that's going to confuse the beginner players and that they wouldn't like it.
I agree. I think it'd be confusing to the beginner players between trying to remember 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 1 bounce, 2 bounce.
Okay.
Especially the beginner adults. The kids probably get very quick, but the adults will take a little bit longer.
Well, I
don't know. I mean, it's y'all's deal. I don't know.
I think that'd be a market. It's a small market, but it would help. And actually, the people that at first, when they first went out to play in the tournament, this one team got to the finals and lost 7-6 to the third in the 4-0. There was adults. So I'm just throwing that out. Okay, we can ask Fish again. He probably won't let us.
We can ask Bill.
Bill, what do you think?
I missed the question, so I don't know the answer. Whatever you want to do.
He wants to make wheelchair people.
With 2 bounce rule, playing against able-bodied people in singles and doubles.
I think there's a place for that. I don't know that you want to. I would say maybe once a month, do an everybody all together event. Why not? I think also you want to establish, these, kind of like juniors only, able-bodied only events. Because I think that's also partly dependent on good relationships with people. People start to trust you that you're doing a good thing. Because I know, some people will be hesitant about playing somebody in a wheelchair. They will. It's just natural. It's human nature. So I would say give it some time. Give it a little time. Build the relationships. Maybe once every 6 weeks, do adults, wheelchair, everybody all together. That's amazing. I've heard some really good things from able-bodied people who played wheelchair player and had a really fun time of it.
Dave Borelli and I have gone through the training, and we've done things. We've had the international wheelchair championships at Mission Viejo. He does a clinic about every 2 months. They come with the wheelchairs and stuff, and I've taken my top players to come and volunteer for volunteer hours, and they play with them. So
I would hit the ball right at them.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll ask Fish about.
Well, one of the big things is the ball needs to bounce. They have the ability to have the ball bounce twice.
Right, but if you hit it, how good are they at getting out of the way of that thing? So.
But the only argument that I have is when you bring it and you integrate it with beginners, that what we're trying to do, that it might confuse them as to, okay, now I'm playing this. I grew up, this, that. I don't know. I just don't.
Okay, here's a thought. Keep the wheelchair people separate until they get to a level where they're also a legitimate 5, because then they can go in and play legitimate, verified. So, because otherwise, if you get because I got to imagine that a novice wheelchair player is not as good as a novice regular tennis player. So I would say definitely have a little feeding ground, proving ground, so that they can go in and be legit. And then I would also say, be ready to throw a party, when a kid graduates to that level, because I think that's an amazing moment, I think. Because think about the empowerment there. And, I think it has the potential to be transformative for people.
Well, I want to tell you that, and now I see where you're coming from, like you guys, that this is not for beginner wheelchair people. The wheelchair people that we have, the 20 or 30 that I've seen, the kids and the adults, when we had, can play.
Okay.
They've been doing it for 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's not like they're like, ooh, they're gonna get the ball back. They're gonna.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll do it just every maybe 6 weeks or something. But I would hesitate to put them with the beginner, the kids starting out right off the bat. Maybe put them, with
we'll table it for this summer anyway.
Yeah.
It just seemed we had the rain, and I had Dave Borelli get sick when we were trying to get the stuff in, and the Sage Hill is like. It's like Congress. They take forever, and they check this out, and then we're only and all this stuff. But we've got our foot in the door. I know it's slow, and I apologize, but hopefully with 20 events, we should be able to fund the things that we want to do, the website, all the other stuff like that. Real quickly, I had an hour-long call last Friday from Delaney Mast, who is the chairman of the high school USTA High School Association, with Clinicky, who is the president of the High School Coach Association in Texas. We talked about World Team Tennis. She basically said that the Barnes Center is jacking up the price, and they can't afford to go to the Barnes Center. I said, let's come to Orange County and play it at the Great Park. She happens to be a very good friend. What's his name?
Steve
Briggs. Steve Briggs. They worked together a lot, and she loved the idea of coming here because by next year, not this year, I don't think they can't change it this year. By next year, there will be 3 or 4 hotels and 4 or 5 restaurants at the Great Park where you could just fly into John Wayne, which is cheaper. It's cheaper here than San Diego. The hotel rooms are insanely expensive there because it's resort. You can fly in, take Uber to the Great Park, stay in the hotel, go out and eat it right there and walk to the courts. And also, she loved the idea of having World Team Tennis Junior Winter Nationals, except, as she said, we will not be able to get national teams to come between Christmas and New Year's. But she said, how about a high school 16-team tournament, Southern California or all of California? I think that's great. And she'd be willing to work with us and split the profits with us to have a high school. It doesn't have to be CIF or anything because it's out of season. So a high school coach could put a team together and come play. Now, we would use the same format as that 3 guys and 3 girls, so it'd be easy. If you come from out of Orange County, you get a hotel room. So we're going to work on that. Also, it's really funny. The day before, I went to the All-American banquet that Tim Mang puts on, and the top 5 kids in California and girls and top 5 boys all got All-American status. And the guy by the name of Eric Davidson, who lives here in Newport Beach, and he played at UCI, and he bought the Breakers, the professional team in Newport Beach, and he also owns part of the Aviators, which play in San Diego. And then he bought it from Billie Jean King, and then he and his partner own 80% of World Team Tennis. So I think I was just sitting right next to him at the head table and talking and telling him, hey, I coached the team, we call it the Breakers, the junior team, and all this kind of stuff. And I think with him and Briggs and Delaney that we can do the high school World Team Tennis, winter state championship, whatever we call it. And also,
and I would rather play that format in the summer than USTA junior team tennis. I'd rather play that format all the time.
What's the format for junior team tennis?
Well, it's generally split up by gender. I mean, they do have their co-ed stuff, and it's been a long time since I've had USTA junior teams in the summer.
It's usually 1 set, no ad, and it's a set. I mean, they play a tiebreaker at 5-all, and depending on like Texas, they may split up on gender depending on if rain or not, if they're on the schedule, but sometimes they put them together. It just depends on the year.
Right. So you have singles, doubles, and some mixed doubles. And I think mixed doubles in high school is just hilarious. It's just so fun. They probably have more fun with mixed doubles than anything else.
Well, this is very big in Texas. In fact, the fall is 6 girls singles, 3 boys doubles. They use 9 courts and they flip. Then it's 6 girls singles, 3 boys doubles, and then they play 7 mixed doubles, something like that. But anyway, because the schools in California only have 6 courts, the ultimate goal is to have high school World Team Tennis league during the winter season of sport. The fall is girls, the spring is boys, and we go from Thanksgiving to February 1, we can play next. Already, CIF has relaxed all this stuff because, for example, baseball plays winter baseball. The volleyball teams play beach volleyball. So it would be a very, very easy sell. And if we can get this guy Erickson, World Team Tennis, Delaney, Billie Jean King, and all this stuff, and start with this stuff. I mean, not that we're going to have high school World Team Tennis league this year, but maybe in a year or two.
Well, and see, this is where this fills a need of helping to create the continuity where high school kids know what their next thing that they can go do is. I would like to see what the numbers are about high school kids matriculating into USTA adult play, but I betcha it's somewhere between 1% and 5%, you know, and I think maybe a larger number go on and play club tennis, you know, and then that's like tennis on campus.
Yeah, tennis on campus is their largest.
So club tennis has been more or less taken over by tennis on campus. Is that right?
Yeah.
Seems like it. So, yeah. But World Team Tennis, if it started really working in high school and then started making headway into colleges, could even be a better format.
Well, let me just tell you, the last high school seminar that I went to at USTA, we talked about it. They said that the USTA is looking at low-hanging fruit. They left high school tennis alone. All these people play. They're not members of the USTA. And then they fit high school, they stop playing. They go to college, they get a job, they get married, and then they come back to the game at 35 or play because they can join a club or whatever. That's what they're doing. Also, of the 10 kids that were at the All-American that we honored, all of the girls and boys are going to Stanford, USC, you know, big school, Arizona State, Cal. 9 out of the 10, and they all had very good grades and are going to Division I major top 10 schools, all of them. 9 out of the 10 played high school tennis and loved it. There was one guy that homeschooled, and he went over to play for uni.
But he was the main guy. He was the best guy.
He was the best guy. And his coach didn't want him to be nominated for, he got the MVP of the state. And this guy only played 2 matches in the league and all of the playoffs. And he won Ojai and he won CIF. They had to give it to him. And it was really embarrassing because he was the last guy to speak, and all the others said, I want to thank my coach and my parents, and I enjoyed, and my teammates, I could have done it. The high school tennis is so fantastic, and he was the last guy to speak, and he goes, well, I homeschooled for 2 years up in Alameda and decided to move down here to get better competition at the Advantage Academy. And then I kind of got talked into playing, and I love the fact that I didn't have to practice with a team or play in any matches except the playoffs.
Right. Maybe that's the kid that caused a little controversy up here, because there was a homeschool kid, but there was this controversy in a league that I was in that happened.
Like 10 seconds, I think. So.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, thank you, Andre. I'll call you later this afternoon. But Noni was in town. I'll tell you about that.
I'm going to be on the phone with Scott Engie of the National Association of High School Tennis Coaches. So we'll have a conversation and I'll report back on that.
What we're doing or trying to do.
Say again.
Tell him what we're doing or trying to do. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.